Joining me now with more Texas Republican Congressman John Carter, who represents the district covering Austin and San Antonio. Congressman, the suspect killed himself, I understand, outside your office. Is that right?
Yes, Tom. Right across the street, right across the interstate highway from our office is where the car blew up.
And were you aware of this when it was going on?
Well, I was in D.C. when it happened, but my staff was at home in bed.
Yeah.
But my son lived about a mile from there, and he heard all of the sirens and all of the disturbance, and called me early the next morning to tell me about it.
Yeah. And what's the effect on your district here? I guess you're communicating with your constituents from where you are, right?
Absolutely. We are a very, very close-knit community in Round Rock. I'm sure everyone is on their toes and listening to the recommendation of law enforcement. Be cautious. We don't know what this guy's done in the last 24 hours. And Mr. Condit obviously was not stable. So everybody should be careful, and I hope everybody's paying attention.
Well, catching bombers is notoriously difficult. We had, Ted Kaczynski, famously, this guy Richard Jewell was falsely accused. We're glad we got this guy when we did. I would say that the law enforcement did a pretty good job here, wouldn't you?
Oh, I think it was excellent. I talked with both federal, state, and local because I was a state district judge trying criminal cases, felonies, and I know all the officers. And I talked to the chief in Round Rock, and I talked to Sheriff Chody in Williamson County and got their views, and I visited with some federal authorities about it. I think they've done an excellent first-class. APD ought to be really, really proud for what they've done. Our DPS, our Texas Rangers, everybody worked in unison. We had over 400 FBI agents, and I understand about 100 ATF agents there. That's really the kind of response we want to see from the federal government. And as a result, I think good police work solved this problem and found this man.
Well, he also was. Any indication that there's going to be talk about, we had after Parkland, people talked about restricting access to guns. What about talk of legislation to prevent people from collecting these kind of bomb-making materials?
Well, the first question I wanted, several questions I could not get an answer to, but I expect we will get an answer fairly shortly now that they've got in the House. They've examined the bomb materials that were in the House to know what exactly he was making bombs out of, because you can make bombs out of, anhydrous ammonium fertilizer. So what he was doing to make the bombs, and I'd like to know if he had initial targets he was trying to get, or if it's just random. I'd like to know his motivation, and I'd like to know if anybody that he, friends, family, or roommates, saw any indication of mental instability, because these are the things that really seem to drive these mass murder situations. Some kind of instability.
Yeah, looking for those red flags. Thank you, Congressman.